Hey, happy spring everybody. Welcome back to the Outback Cooking channel and Outback Eats. Today we got some fun stuff we're going to do. Joe, it's a little springy, so cloudy, rainy, snow yesterday. We're looking for some comfort food today. So, on tap we've got some tomato basil soup. We're going to cook that on the fire. And it's rabbit season around here, Joe. I've got rabbits everywhere in my yard. I don't know what kind of rabbits these are, but today we're looking for the evasive Welsh rabbit. I don't know what that looks like, but follow along and we're going to see where he's at. All right, first things first, we're going to dice up a red onion. It's not overly oniony, it's a little sweeter than a normal onion. And of course, the base of a good tomato soup is the tomatoes. Joe, it's not quite tomato season yet. I will say, the fresher tomatoes you've got, the better soup that you're going to have. This is the best I could find in our store. I think it's going to make a good soup. So we'll just take the core out of that on top, and then we're going to use everything else. We're going to start today with our propane grill, or our propane stove, using our field skillet. Use a little olive oil here. We'll go a little heavy on the olive oil today. And we're going to roast those tomatoes and onions in the skillet to start our soup base. We'll just do a coarse dice today. Add some fresh garlic. I like to add the onions first, Joe. Sear those a little bit, and then we'll add the garlic at the end. It doesn't take quite as much time, so get a good brown to the onions. Man, I always like the smell of fresh onions. We're going to keep these pretty coarse, so just have your tomato in about 4 wedges. We're going to be adding sugar to our soup this morning, Joe, but like I said, if you've got fresh tomatoes out of your garden, they probably have enough of their own sugar. These here aren't near as sweet, so we'll be adding about a tablespoon of sugar as we go along here. Alright, I think we've got a good sear to those vegetables. We'll add the tomatoes. Sugar. Probably about a tablespoon, Joe, today. Pinch of salt. Dash of pepper. Alright, while we are letting those tomatoes roast a little bit, we're going to start our pesto sauce, which is going to be a topping for our soup. First things first, we're going to toast some sunflower seeds. Pumpkin seed is what we got today. We can use sunflower seeds or typical pine nuts. Makes a good pesto. This is what we had on hand. Gives a nutty flavor to your pesto. Giving a little foreshadowing to the recipe, Joe. 2 versions. Today we're making a rustic version, which is going to have a little more texture to it. So in order to do that, we're just going to chop up these tomatoes by hand a little bit. If you are cooking over your stovetop inside and you have a blender, when we're done with this, we can blend that, puree it, make a nice smooth soup. Our version today is the rustic campfire tomato basil soup. Okay, so we've got that cooked down a bit. We're going to take it off. We're going to take the fire off the bottom, and we're going to add some coals on a lid to the top of our soup and let that roast just a little bit more for about 20 minutes. If you're inside using an oven, 20 minutes on 180 just to let those tomatoes roast a little bit more. I think before I get too carried away, I'm going to add a bit of oregano to the recipe, or to our tomatoes, and a dash of the salt and vinegar. Basil. I said oregano. Basil. Adding those flavors now, I'm just going to let that soup stew a little bit. Get the flavors blended in. Those things are toasting up nicely. For the pesto sauce, we've got some sun-dried tomatoes we're going to dice up. Grind those up. Add a little parm, a little oil from the tomatoes, Okay, our soup is roasting on the stove. The next step we want to add is we want a little toasted cheese with our meal today. It goes well with our soup. Toasted cheese is basically, in British terms, a Welsh rabbit. That's our evasive Welsh rabbit that we're going to cook up. We're going to try it over a campfire today. So the first things first, we're going to make a little roux with some butter and flour. We're going to toast our bread and make a cheese sauce. We bring that up to where it's pasty, and then instead of adding milk, we're going to add stout today. Give that a little different flavor. A touch of Worcestershire, a little deep base flavor. A little Dijon. We're going to add cheddar to this cheese sauce. This heavy flavored beer will pair well with our aged cheddar. While that's still hot, we'll add some freshly grated cheddar. let the soup roast for about 20 minutes. Now we're going to add a little vegetable broth and some creamer to it. Our final touch right before we add the creamer, Joe, we're going to add just a touch of New Mexico chili pepper and about a teaspoon of brush fire, just to liven it up a little bit.
Brush fire barbecue sauce, where can I find that?
Well, you can probably find that at the Dutch Oven Smokehouse website, which is dosmokehouse.com, alongside some other awesome flavors.
Good to know.
We don't want to overspice it, just enough to give a little kick for the spring day we're having. Keep you warm. And not too much of this, just a teaspoon or so. Just to add a little more complexity to the soup. Simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. Our final ingredient, Joe, is table cream. Since this is creamy tomato basil soup.
If you can't find that, you could probably use heavy cream, right?
That's correct. This is basically heavy cream. Bread toasted on the fire. It's important that you pre-toast that. After we spread our cheese sauce on here, we're going to put that in a Dutch oven and try to broil it in our Dutch oven. How we're going to do that, we're just going to put coals on top and try to get a hot top with no coals on the bottom to finish our Welsh rabbit. Now, if you're in the great indoors, you want to broil that in your oven, it'll probably take you about 2 minutes. In the great outdoors, it's going to take us a bit longer. Again, we're just going to broil this, melt that cheese on top a little bit. Broiling is the effective cooking from top down. So we have no heat on the bottom here. Doesn't look too bad for a campfire grilled cheese.
That's looking pretty good.
All right, I think we're going to call it good. Now to top that off, we'll take a bit of our pesto. And I've got a little bit of red peppers.
That looks pretty good.
All right, shall we give that a whirl? Thank you, Lord, for a great meal and the great outdoors.
Amen.
Nothing like cooking outside. That is tasty. Very good. I like to dip my grilled cheese in there. Right on. Well guys, thanks for following along today. Today we did a homemade rustic tomato basil soup over the campfire along with our evasive Welsh rabbit. Now everybody knows what a Welsh rabbit is. I don't know if I really knew what one was, Joe, but
I didn't.
oh, look, there one goes. Evasive, you don't even see it, do you?
Too fast.
Yep. We'll see you next time. What sort of a loophole are you operating under?